For Iowa on the road and Minnesota here at home, it's almost playoff time. The Big Ten Conference Championship less than a week away, and this the final tune-up. Iowa counting on the senior leadership of Canadian Jennifer Zimbutis. And the Gophers go to their cleanup hitter, Carmelina Carbajal, whose pride and skills on display in this her final home meet. The Gymhawks and the Gophers, the best in women's gymnastics, next. The University of Minnesota, founded back in 1851, 7 years before the territory Minnesota was formed as a state, and the Sports Pavilion, home to women's gymnastics for the last 14 years. You take a look at the Gophers' record on the season, the Hawkeyes, and how Iowa's done. As we are here on the campus of the University of Minnesota, Mary Lee Tracy's alongside. And for visiting coach Larissa Libby, her Gymhawks, as you take a look at the series history, have been literally devastated by injury. 5, count them 5, season-ending injuries, so the freshmen have to step up big tonight. Meanwhile, what about the Stevensons?
Well, Jim and his charismatic leadership style combined with Meg, who is a little more calm, cool, and collected, is the glue that holds this team together.
All the coaches agree, 24 of 24. That means to stick their performances tonight. And in rotation number 1, the Gymhawks open up on the uneven bars and the Gophers on the vault. The freshman out of Roseville, Minnesota, Trinity School, Lucy Ennis, first up for the Gophers. Her best on the vault so far this year, 9.775.
Lucy's vault is a little different than most you'll see this evening. She enters frontwards and really gets off that horse for a handspring front pike.
Teammates like it. Here come the Gophers with some high fives for the gal out of Twin Cities Twisters Club.
This is a big vault. Look at the amount of air time. She rises off the horse, sits up into a nice position, and a good landing except for that step to the side.
Good start for Minnesota here at home, Lucy Ennis. First up for Iowa, she celebrated her 20th birthday the end of January. The sophomore out of Fort Salonga, New York, Ariel Susich.
Ariel starts with a really nice mount. It's called a Shushanova up to the high bar. Very well done. Directly into a shoot over for some combination bonus. Big swing up to handstand. Nice release move. Again, will cost her a little bit on that leg separation. And a double back with a full twist and a definite stuck landing.
Good start. How about her release move here?
You can see it's a big release move, but the legs do come apart. Could take up to 2/10 on that.
Scored a 9.70 on the bars in the Cancun Classic. Ariel Susich for Iowa. Next on the vault for the Gophers, the sophomore out of Plymouth, Minnesota. She says she competes for the Minnesota Stitch on her back, Kendra Elm.
Kendra struggled a little bit in warm-ups with this vault, and she certainly did a good job here in the competition pulling it out. She's got some sore ankles, but when it comes time to compete, you'll see her hit the board nice and tight. Definitely focusing on the task at hand and not the sore ankles.
9.750, Kendra's best and career best. That's her best for the season. Kendra Elm out of Wayzata. 18 years of age, only 5'1", competing. The freshman, Jessica Hansen for the Hawkeyes.
Jessica always starts every event with a smile on her face. Let's hope she ends this one the same way. She starts with a giant swing, right into a blind change, half turn into her release move, which is a big catch for her. She struggled with that a couple times in competition. She's got all her connections very well put together. Now she sets up for a dynamic dismount, a nice double layout above the height of the high bar.
Trained at the same gym as U.S. Olympic star Shawn Johnson, Jessica Hansen.
And here's that release move that she's been struggling with, but not at all on that one.
And the dismount, Mary Lee.
Yeah, the dismount was really nice and high, but she had one step forward on the landing.
Wants to improve her consistency. One of the freshmen that Larissa Libby's counting on to step it up. Yuri Nagai for the Gophers now on the vault. Her season's best, 9.725. Here we go.
And that was a nice vault. She started off with an aggressive run and slowed down just a little bit before the board. You'll see here she's aggressive, and then it gets a little bit easy right here. And watch, a little flat, which makes her land a little bit forward on the landing.
Out of Maryville High School in Maryville, Tennessee, the native of Japan, Yuri Nagai for the Gophers. Placed first on the bars at the state championship when she was a senior in Newton, Massachusetts in high school. Hori Gabijian.
Hori swings the bars very well. If you watch, you'll see that she uses the rhythm. The bars have a natural bend to them.
Hansen and what she did for the Hawkeyes, 9.550.
Hori does a nice release move to the low bar. All of her release moves are high and smooth. Nice full pirouette right into a double tuck stuck landing.
Fell in love with gymnastics as a youngster when she said she learned how much fun it could be flipping around and working hard with her friends all day long.
Look how nice those legs are glued together.
Hawkeyes off to a good start on the bar. We're underway here at Minnesota. The Gophers at home. The Jimhawks of Iowa have come in. It's the last tune-up before the Big Ten championships. More of rotation number one straight ahead. The Big Ten Network Women's Gymnastics is brought to you by the National Championships, April 16th through the 18th, 2009. For tickets, call 800-8-BIG-RED or visit NCAA.com. And as we welcome you back to our dual meet between Iowa and the Gophers, a programming note. Join host Eddie George for lively, unscripted conversations, untold stories, and lots of personal experiences from Big Ten stars of the past and the present. The Big Ten Quad. Mondays, mark it down, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Only here on the Big Ten Network. Well underway, rotation number one. Mary Lee Tracy is alongside here. It was interesting. I'm not sure if I was getting coach speak a little earlier, and you're a coach, but I asked Carm Carbajal her goal going into the meet. She said nail 24-24, exactly what Larissa Libby said for Iowa.
Well, at this point, it is about the team, and that you can see by those answers, all of their thoughts are how can this team be the best they can be at this point in the season.
For Iowa, 5 season-ending injuries, the kids have to step up. That's what Larissa Libby said. How do they do that?
Well, there's a lot of girls that have been training that are anxious to get in and get their opportunity, and they're going to go for that. Not that anyone ever wants an injury, of course not, but the bottom line is there's a lot of girls that have been training all year that are now going to get to compete.
Watch the long strides here, the junior, 20 years of age, Alexis Russell.
As Jim was saying, Alexis has a very athletic run. See nice even steps all the way to the board. She comes off the table, lets her head go out a little bit, which kills some of that power, but still a very nice vault.
What exactly do you mean by that, Mary Lee?
Well, you'll see here on the replay, she's got a great run coming in. She makes contact, ready to block, and you'll see that head throw out a little bit, which cuts off some of the block.
Has a career best of 9.900 on the vault. Her season's best for Alexis, 9.850. Out of Markham, Ontario, 23 years of age, 5'1", the senior, Jennifer Zimbutis.
Jennifer mounts from the front side of the bars. She starts off with a strong pop off the low bar.
How does she get ready for every meet? She says, I like to veg around, watch TV, and have a snack.
There you could see that nice height on her mount over the low bar. Right into a giant full and into a nice high ginger, small leg separation, but great amplitude. Into a shoot over, again with a little bit of leg separation, which will probably be a 10th in deduction on both. But wow, was that a great double layout.
Finishing up 4 successful years for Coach Larissa Libby. Jennifer talks about her originality and creativity being part of what she's learned in Iowa.
You see the release move is nice and big, but you can see those legs are not quite glued together.
First team all Big Ten selection, trying to repeat the senior Jennifer Zimbutis. 20 years of age, Jamie Bullock out of Eden Prairie, Minnesota, where the Minnesota Vikings call home. That's their home office. Struggled with a foot injury throughout most of last year.
You'd never know it by that vault. That was a very strong, dynamic vault. Nice, straight, powerful legs all the way through.
So she loves to get crazy and dance before the meet. Here she goes. Good liftoff, good amplitude.
See it in that good form and execution. It always pays off. Even though she took a big step on the landing, it was a great vault.
The first Canadian to receive a silver medal in the uneven bars at a World Cup event, the sophomore. This is Rebecca Zimbutis.
The thing I like the most about Rebecca here on bars is everything is finished with that strong, beautiful toe point. Every line. Great form and execution on her release moves.
9.90 for her sister.
Nice handstand. Another toe handstand right through the vertical line into a double pike, and what a great stick on that landing.
Goals for the season for Rebecca, 9.9 on the bars and on the beam, the sophomore, also out of Markham, Ontario.
Double pike, and that's about as stuck as you can get.
Hawkeyes open up strong on the bars. Team captain, Carmelina Carbajal. 6th up in 3 out of the 4 rotations here tonight.
Carmelina has been a leader for this team, not just by score, but by example. She's an incredible hard worker day to day in the gym. And a nice Yurchenko full, even with a flare on the way out.
9.925, Carbajal's best this season and her career best on the vault. Another look.
Watch this vault. She gets enough air time to be able to complete the twist and show a nice opening right there. You don't see that very often.
Competing on senior night, she'll be honored along with 2 other seniors for the Gophers at the end of tonight's competition. Last up for the Hawkeyes, the senior from Corona, California, who says the title of her autobiography would be Living a Life of No Regrets. Brandy Lawfer.
This is Brandy's favorite event. You'll be able to tell by how aggressive she swings the bars.
The sophomore, Rebecca Zimbutis, and her score on the bars, 9.775.
Nice big swing. She's not afraid to have air time when she goes from the low bar to the high bar or releases. And here comes her dismount. She does a double back with a full twist.
Brandy, who's nailed a couple of 9.775s for the Hawkeyes so far this year.
And here comes her shoot over to low bar, right up to handstand. And then there's that dismount with the full twist in the middle of the double back.
Good effort there for the communication studies major and the Gym Hawks, Brandy Lawfer. Exciting Big Ten women's gymnastics, a dual meet, Iowa at Minnesota. First rotation into the books. When we come back, they switch. Iowa on the vault and the Gophers on the bars. Back at the Sports Pavilion here on the campus of the University of Minnesota, a dual meet, the Hawkeyes and the Gophers. And a programming note, don't miss the biggest conference event of the year. The men's team from around the Big Ten compete for individual and team titles at the Men's Big Ten Gymnastics Championships. That's April 3rd and 4th from Ann Arbor, only here on the Big Ten Network. How about the vault and the Gophers?
The Gophers start off strong on vault. Carmelina certainly came through for the team, but it was a good way to start the meet.
And the Hawkeyes on the uneven bars. Jennifer Zimbutis the best.
Jennifer was the best. All the girls did a good job of hitting their routines. Scores were just a little bit lacking, so I think there was some disappointment in the outcome.
Team total now after that first rotation.
It's very close. This is going to be a close meet all the way through. These teams are very even against each other.
As both teams try to build momentum going into the Big Ten championships this weekend. Coach, you came in talking about the babies, the young pups that had to step it up. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on your freshmen.
Yeah, absolutely. We've unfortunately sustained 5 season-ending injuries, so my young ones are getting definitely the on-the-job training. I'm really proud of this team. What they're doing is nothing short of a miracle, so we're really excited for the future of Iowa gymnastics, and we believe everything happens for a reason. So if it's meant to be for us that it's time to get our freshmen in the lineup and get them ready for next year, then that's what we're going to do.
Another of the freshmen who has to step it up big for Coach Larissa Libby's Hawkeyes, 18 years of age, out of Palatine, Illinois, Rachel Corcoran. Short run-up, too, huh?
Yes. Yes. Rachel is going to start this team off. I want you to watch her dynamics and her run. Really picks it up, pops off, and a nice start.
For the gal that got started in gymnastics at preschool, they had a gym bus come to the school. They took out the seats and put in preschool gymnastics equipment. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good, and look at where it paid off here. Nice vault and a very good landing.
Got a hug and a high five from the coach, Rachel Corcoran, to start things off on the vault for Iowa. Lucy Ennis, a last-minute addition to go first now for the Gophers on the bars.
Starts with a tap over the low bar, which is a good way to start a swing set. Here she goes into her release move. Nice pike Jaeger right into a shoot over. Great connection. All the way up to handstand. Good vertical line. She does a nice double layout. Great body position.
Very poised. The 3-time qualifier at the junior Olympic level, national 10. Trips to the national meet, 06, 07, and 08, the dismount.
I really like this dismount. You don't see many be able to hold that nice shape all the way through to the landing.
Graduate of Trinity School in River Ridge, Bloomington, Minnesota, the freshman, Lucy Ennis. Next for the Hawkeyes, the sophomore, Ariel Susic.
Ariel is a powerful vaulter. You'll see her work very well off of the horse. Nice straight arms, which created a good landing.
The pre-business major out of Fort Salona, New York.
Look the way she gets off of the board and rises, gets on the horse with nice straight arms, which creates this very vertical landing. Nice job.
Most memorable moment in gymnastics when she signed with Iowa, Ariel Susic. Her season best, also her career best on the bars, Yuri Nagai for Minnesota.
Had some issues tonight, some delays with start values. There have been some difference of opinions on what the routine starts at from a 10-0 or less.
Lucy Ennis and what she did for the Gophers to get things going in rotation 2.
Nice pack salto for Yuri, great amplitude. Yuri has excellent form. And a nice dismount.
Earned her personal best in the best of Minnesota. Competed on the bars in all of the 13 meets this year for Minnesota.
Look how clean this dismount is. It's way up above the bar. Very nice effort to hold on to that landing.
Says the harder it gets, the more fun it will be at the end. Yuri Nagai for the Gophers. 19 years of age, Ori Gabijian.
Ori is a dynamic vaulter, great Yurchenko full. You can tell she's pretty happy about that vault.
When you say dynamic on the vault, what do you mean?
Dynamic is just not afraid to get in there, aggressive, get on the board, get off the horse, squeeze your body, and there it created a nice, strong vertical landing.
Nailed a couple of 9.725s, including here in Minnesota a year ago. Hori Gabizian, the sophomore for Iowa. Out of Wayzata High School, Kendra Elm, the sophomore for the Gophers. Her season best and her career best, 9.850. Yuri Nagai and what she did for the Gophers.
Great job by Kendra Elm. A very unusual release move. She does a hop full. Now she goes into a straddle back to a great vertical line. Here she comes with two nice, powerful giants getting ready to do a double layout to a stuck landing.
This was Minnesota's nominee for Big Ten Freshman of the Year last year when she was just out of high school. Now in her second year and only getting better.
Right up to handstand on that straddle back. You watch here, she goes right in, good position all the way through the dismount.
National Honor Society member, that's Kendra Elm for the Gophers. The sophomore from Markham, Ontario, 5'2", Rebecca Zimbutis.
Rebecca does a nice vault, a little different than everybody else's. She does the Yurchenko with just a half twist, but does it extremely well. Same start value, 10.0.
Two-time Canadian World Championship team member.
Watch the body shape on this. When she comes off the horse, she is completely stretched and she remains in that position to a blind, stuck front landing. That's impressive.
Rebecca's best on the bars so far, 9.850 for the Hawkeyes. Fourth up in the rotation, number 2 on the bars for the Gophers, Carmelina Carbajal.
I love her calm demeanor before she starts her routines. She takes a deep breath and she goes when she's ready to go.
Kendra Elm, 9.80 for the Gophers as the captain is on the bars.
Little short on her handstand. She's missed a couple, which will cost her maybe a tenth or two. You can see there she was a little short again. Here comes her dismount, which is a full twist in the double back. She comes off the bar a little bit late and a little slow, which causes the deep squat on the landing.
What causes you to come off the bar late?
Well, you come off of the bar the way she does for a lot of different reasons, the speedier swing. And for her, it just looked like there she just missed the timing of the release.
9.800, her best on the bars so far this year. The freshman out of Reno, Nevada, Annie Satowski.
Annie does a nice, clean Yurchenko full. She loses a little bit because she lands so close to the horse. But I really like her form and execution here. See nice, strong legs. Just a little too much on the front of the horse.
What can she do then, Coach, to improve that?
Well, when she comes off of the board, the higher she gets her hips, the more she's going to be able to travel back onto the landing.
Best on the vault in high school for Annie, 9.80. The 20-year-old junior out of South Maplewood, Minnesota, and Tartan High School with a season and a career best of 9.900 on the uneven bars. The poise of this young lady is remarkable.
I agree. She is an amazing athlete. What I like about her is when you watch her, you see the athleticism. She puts her whole entire body into all of her movements. She starts off with a very strong mount. It's a very challenging mount to do when you go and release from the low bar right up to the high bar. But she does it well. A nice backswing. She's a very aggressive bar swinger. Again, bars are beautiful to watch when an athlete swings big. She hits all of her handstands. And a nice double layout, a big step, but a nice body position on the double layout.
for the junior who says, I compete to prove to myself that no challenge goes unsolved. Here's the dismount.
Nice tap swing right at the bottom there. You see her open her hips and set up nicely for a double layout. Just pulls her feet underneath her a little too far on the landing.
Solid effort here tonight. Alexis Russell, the junior for Minnesota. You saw her sophomore sister, Rebecca, go. Now this is Jennifer Zimbutis in the anchor spot for the Hawkeyes on the vault.
She anchors this team on vault because she does an interesting vault. You see most go on the horse backwards and touch the horse in a backwards position. She's going to do a full twist onto the horse. Full twist and then a layout off. Very well done.
First team all Big Ten selection, 23 years of age, the senior with all that experience for the Hawkeyes.
Watch this. She hits the board and you're going to see her not go just straight back. She goes back in with a full twist, blocks off the horse.
She's not coming back.
And does a layout off.
Said if she could be on the cover of any magazine, it would be the cover of Vogue. And a little attention halfway through the meet. Rotation number 2, Jennifer Zimbutis. Last up on the bars for the Gophers, the sophomore from Pomona, California, Kristen Furukawa.
Kristen's strength is her form. I want you to look at this toe point. She has an absolutely beautiful toe point, which just accents her lines on the bars. And there's a nice pike Jaeger, high above the bar, good form. Nice full pirouette to an immediate shoot over. There was a little bit of a form break. Legs came apart. It's really beautiful to watch when you see someone make such a gorgeous straight line. And there's the double layout, dismount, stuck hold, a lot because of that execution.
Competed with the Scats Diamond Elite Gymnastics Club under coaches Trent and Jill Spalding, where she actually coaches now. Young gymnasts, 3 and 6, who want to grow up and be just like Kristen. Here was the little bobble.
Yeah, just a little bit of leg separation, and it just shows so much because her form is so good throughout the routine. And here's the dismount. Look at that, legs together, straight, and there's that stick.
A little poetic, says she likes to compete because chalk and sweat are my powder and my perfume. Goldie Gophers here. We're glad you're here. The results of rotation number 2 when we come back, and the Hawkeyes move to the floor, and Carmelina Carbajal, the senior and captain, and her Gopher mates on the balance beam. Welcome back to our dual meet as we get ready. Our Big Ten Network crew will be motoring on to Champaign, Illinois. Join us as the Big Ten Championship season continues. The Women's Gymnastics Championship. Illinois playing host. The best of the Big Ten compete. Mark it down live Saturday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Live 3 o'clock Eastern Time, only here on the Big Ten Network. After the second rotation, the Hawkeyes on the vault. Your impressions, Mary Lee?
The Hawkeyes on the vault came through. I think we saw a lot of powerful vaults. I think they were good on their landings, and I think that's why their vault score is pretty decent.
And your thoughts on the Gophers on the uneven bars?
The Gophers on the uneven bars were clean, strong, and impressive.
And the team standings halfway through our dual meet look like this, the Hawkeyes and the Gophers. And it's time for Mary Lee Tracy to put on her journalistic cap, because in between rotations, Larissa Libby, the Iowa coach, hard to dampen her enthusiasm, came over, said something to you about the scoring. We've got a coach that's not happy at all.
Well, at this point, I think, too, the judges are trying to get tightened up for the championships to make a comparison and try to get the best of the best. And they're hitting them a little bit harder from what I can see. A start value, meaning some things they're giving credit to and some things they're not. And maybe earlier this season they were getting credit. So it's a little bit hard as you're working as a coach to watch your scores go down a little bit.
The sophomore out of Monterrey, Mexico, Anna Balboa for the Gophers.
She starts off with a very nice mount of punch front, right into a jump. Good combination. That handspring layout, step out, small adjustment, but she is very focused, ready to do the job. Tuck pull, questioned herself a little bit on that. Showing flexibility. One thing I have noticed about this whole team is they are quite flexible, and they show it in their routines. You're going to see a lot of that during balance beam.
When you say she questioned herself a little bit, what does that do to the rest of your performance?
Well, if you get composure right away, which she seems to do, you saw it again, a little balance check. Usually it'll show sometimes. I'm not real sure about the landing of this. Nice move, switch side, again, showing that nice leg flexibility. Anna's a very confident beam performer. Nice dismount.
Competed on the vault and the beam in her freshman season, now just a sophomore. 9.825, her best on the beam this year and in her career.
Here Anna shows a nice back handspring to a layout step out, and then caught herself quick enough to not have more than maybe a 10th. And there's her dismount. Also very strong, but a tiny step on the landing.
Trained at the Elite Gymnastics Academy under coach Adriana Porte. The sophomore Anna Balboa for the Gophers. 20-year-old junior out of Cuba City, Wisconsin, 5'3", Jenny Dinar. First up.
And here's her first pass. She does a round off back handspring right into a double pike. A little over-rotated. But it's certainly not affecting the level of her performance. Jenny's making sure that the crowd knows she's enjoying her routine. She tumbles frontward for her combination pass. 2 somersaults must be done within 1 series. There's her leap combination. Has to be a point where you show 2 dance elements connected and then another tumbling run where there's 2 saltos connected. Getting ready for her final run. It's going backwards, a double tuck. Keeping up that level of performance, which is important. Nice, strong finishing pose there.
Knew she first loved gymnastics when she started going to the gym and following her mom around. Favorite gymnastics memory, winning a big pink ribbon at her very first meet, Jenny Dinar.
And you certainly see her love of gymnastics all the way through this routine. There was her double salto pass. And here comes her last pass. It's a double back. It's kind of in between a double tuck and a double pike, but I'm sure it was intended to be a double tuck.
2-time academic All-Big Ten selection, the junior Jenny Dinar. Next up for the Gophers now, the sophomore Kristen Furukawa.
Kristen is a beautiful athlete. Very creative way to start on the beam. Excellent job. Wow, that was amazing.
9.625 for Anna Balboa, who is first up on the beam for the Gophers.
This is incredible as far as her posture goes, her dynamics. Very aggressive. She is in full command of this balance beam. Nice front aerial. Finesse and style from start to finish. Nice switch side.
Great job by the toes and ankles hanging on.
Absolutely. Every element in this routine has been beautiful. Right into a stuck dismount.
9.875, her season high and her career high.
And I think we're going to see that again tonight. Look at this mount. The value is not that great. She doesn't get a lot of points for it, but I would give her lots of points for creativity. That was amazing.
Ariel Susich now on the floor for the Hawkeyes. Second up, sophomore from Fort Saloga, New York.
I like the Hawkeyes routines. They're all very different, as are the girls' personalities.
9.65 for Jenny Dinar, who was first up for Hawkeye.
One thing I've always been impressed with Larissa is how well she knows and coaches her athletes as individuals. Picking your floor music is definitely an individual desire and need to be able to do your job. Here comes the first pass. It's a round back handspring, double tuck. Double turn combination to a wolf full. Ariel's second pass is a backward flip also. Double pike, nice job.
You mentioned Larissa Libby. I asked her a couple of her goals tonight. She said, we got to work on our details. I said, what do you mean by that? She said, it's really the difference between an A and an A+. She talked about watching and focusing on other teams, watching them on film, not the gymnastics, she said, but how they do it, how it's done.
Yes, and I can see that in the performance tonight when you watch the landings, the final poses. They're more detailed, they're held longer.
Strong effort right there for the pre-business makers.
Here comes that last pass again. It was a front full to a front layout. Nicely done.
Best moment for Ariel when she signed with Iowa Gymnastics. This will be special. From Tartan High School, South Maplewood, Minnesota, the junior Alexis Russell on the beam.
Starts off with a big mount. She takes a full run. Bounces off the board and does a front somersault right into a nice dance move. And here's her flight pass. Back handspring to a layout.
I love you can hear her go for teammates there. Come on, Lex. Come on, Alexis.
Yes. Look at this. Strong, flexible. She's got a lot that creates such a beautiful athlete. I like her nice long arms. She works well. She shows them off. And there's that flexibility.
Size a factor on the beam?
Well, sometimes they say if your center of gravity is low, it makes it easier to stay on, which I think there's a lot of truth to, but Alexis' center of gravity certainly isn't low, and she is beautiful on the beam. Front full dismount to a stick. That was a beautiful set.
What does this great-looking junior like to do when she's not doing gymnastics? Singing, dancing, and acting. Those are her hobbies.
This is an impressive dismount. She punches off at 2 feet. Very clean front landing, which is blind to a nice stick.
No signs of that knee injury from last year. The junior Alexis Russell. Third on the floor for the Gym Hawks, the sophomore Rebecca Zimbutis.
I think Rebecca's experience on the international scene has made her confidence level, her performance level outstanding.
Two-time Canadian World Championship team member.
Talk about some different, interesting music. She opens with a front tumbling pass, a 1.5 twist. Very fun to watch her dance. She goes right with the music. And there's her second pass, which is a double pike, a little bit short on the landing. Definitely has some international flavor to the movements. Big jump combination, 3 leaps together.
Floor might not be Rebecca's best event of the 4, but everybody's got to pick up the pace a little bit with those 5 season-ending injuries.
Yes, and the thing about her is she is beautiful on floor. Tumbling just seems to be a little bit more challenging, but her dance is outstanding. Sometimes when you're that flexible, it's hard to be really powerful too. Here's that last pass, which she has struggled with, and boy, did she pull that out.
Good finish for the sophomore out of Markham, Ontario. Being with Coach Libby has taught her you're no longer doing it for yourself, but for the team, and being part of a big family that supports you.
This is her hardest pass for her. It's her second pass. It's a round off back handspring double pike, and she's a little bit short. And here's her last pass. Watch how she comes out of the first somersault. She buckles her knees a little bit, but boy, she fought to get on her feet.
Halfway through rotation number 3 in a dual meet that's way up for grabs.
University of Minnesota, Kendra Elm.
Next up, Kendra Elm, the sophomore out of nearby Wayzata High School in Plymouth.
Kendra has really stepped up for this team this year. All 4 events, she's showing a lot of strength and confidence. Back handspring layout, very confident, slight bent legs on the back handspring. Switch lead tuck full, that is a difficult combination, and it was very well done. Kick over front, as solid as can be. She seems to have a nice rhythm. She keeps it moving. Gainer full, stuck dismount. It's an outstanding, impressive routine.
Just a little bit off on the dismount. The National Honor Society member there looking for a challenge every day. Here it is, a little wobble, huh?
Yes, just a little bit. Yeah, she almost landed with those legs too stiff.
9.800, Kendra Elm's best on the beam. Electric smile and a wink to start things off for the 19-year-old sophomore out of Newton, Mass, Hori Gabizian.
It's a good description of Hori. She's out there to have a good time. You can tell that she truly loves gymnastics. First pass, double pike, good landing. Just feel energy when you watch her.
Nailed a 9.850 on the floor for the Gym Hawks at Ohio State. Hori did earlier.
Second pass is a front pass, 2 front layouts, very well done. She has to train a lot of endurance to keep this pace up from start to finish. You don't see her take a lot of breaths in the middle of this routine. The dance level, the performance level, and her level of tumbling are all even, which makes it a nice, well-balanced routine.
Can that affect the judges?
Absolutely, and it affects them in a good way. Here comes the final run. She looks like she's still got a lot of energy. She finishes with a nice double tuck.
Teammates liked it. We'll have to see if the judges do as well. Hori Gabizian, the sophomore for Iowa.
This was a high-quality routine. Here's that second pass, the 2 front layouts. That's her double salto pass. And here comes the last pass, which was a double tuck. And she kept it going.
She did not run out of energy or smiles. Hori Gabizian for the Gym Hawks. Eden Prairie High School and Tag South Gymnastics Club, the sophomore for Minnesota, Jamie Bullock.
It's another one of the Gophers with a nice toe point and beautiful flexibility. Jamie sets up to do her flight series. Back handspring, lay out, step out. Nice form.
9.875, Jamie's best on the beam so far this year, and her career best.
Shows a little personality in the beam routine. You don't see that too often. Great jumps and leaps. Great combination to her down on the beam. I'm very impressed with the Gophers on the beam. Just so confident in their level of performance.
And that's really Coach Meg Stevenson's specialty, right? The floor and the beam.
Obviously, this is her specialty. That was a great dismount.
Strong effort right there for the sophomore, Jamie Bullock, as you check the flight series.
Yeah, and look how straight the legs are. That is very challenging to do when you're tumbling on the beam, is to maintain that execution. Just like there, look at that dismount.
Gophers enjoying a terrific third rotation on the beam, Jamie Bullock. You can call her Jess, you can call her Jessie's girl, or just Jay. She goes by all three nicknames. Jessa Hansen now for the Hawkeyes.
Jess is another gymnast on the Iowa team that just really, really enjoys doing gymnastics. Here comes her first pass, and it's a big one. She punches, does 2 somersaults, a little over-rotated, and I believe she stepped out of bounds.
So that will cost?
When you go out of bounds, it's a 10th. Another Iowa gymnast that performs well. This is a strong event for them. Nice leap combination. Jessa's second pass. She tumbles backwards again. She does a 2.5 twist. Very well done. A little step on the landing.
A little too much momentum.
A little bit. I like the creative performance here. There's that last one. Frontwards for her. A front full twist to a front pike. Getting that requirement in.
A lot of poise there for just a freshman. She trained at Chow's Gymnastics in Des Moines. Her coach, Liang Chow, 3-time junior Olympic qualifier in high school, Jessa Hansen.
And here's the first pass. It's a powerhouse skill, and she does a good job, but she just gets a little over-rotated at the end. And here's the second pass, also very strong, but was able to maintain staying in those white lines.
Most prized possession, her photograph and scrapbook. She'll have a bunch by the time she's a senior, just a freshman for Iowa. Watch this on the beam. The senior captain in her final meet here at home, Carmelina Carbajal.
What a feeling to be last up on the team, your last meet at home on beam. Sure, there's a lot of emotion going on inside of her, but she's a pretty calm competitor, so I think she'll hold it together. Very aggressive jumps on the beam.
She's a coach in waiting. I asked her before the meet tonight what her goals were for tonight. She just grinned and said 24-24.
I know I'd probably hire her as a coach.
Asked her about that emotion the last night at home. She said, honestly, she said, I won't think about it until we get to senior night and the meet's all over.
That's a true competitor. She's done the job for 4 years, and you can see she has the intention not to stop till it's over.
9.950, her season's best and her career best on the beam.
She finishes with a beautiful full, legs straight together, and a good landing too.
First team all Big Ten honoree last year. No reason to think that Carmelina will not be back.
There's that flight series, feet solid right in the center of the beam. And there's that dismount. Look at that form. Execution superb.
Great camera angle there, and you saw, I mean, she was right in the center of the beam. Last up, she'll be last on the floor in rotation 4 as well. In the anchor role on the floor for the Iowa Hawkeyes, the senior Jennifer Zimbutis.
Jennifer loves to tumble. I think that's probably one of the things that she'll miss the most after her career.
She talks about learning originality and creativity under Coach Larissa Libby. Watch it here on the floor.
That's for sure. Here's what she loves the most. Round off back handspring, double back with a full twist. The only one I've seen tonight. Bouncing around, full of energy. Back 1.5 twist, right to a double tuck. Great difficulty value. Again, another routine with really good balance of performance, dance, jumps and leaps, and incredible tumbling.
And as we said, some of those original moves that she's so proud of.
Yes. See it in her face. She likes this routine. Final pass is a round up back handspring, double pike. That was big and strong. Great way to end that routine.
Jennifer's best on the floor, 9.95, almost a year ago to the day right here against the Gophers.
She really has mastered this pass here. This is quite creative. A back 1.5 right into a double tuck. And lands with no problem. And here's the last pass. You see the same energy. She really dominates this event with a nice double pike landing.
Jennifer is Iowa's answer to Carmelina Carbajal. She'll be last up in the fourth and final rotation. 3 out of the 4. She's running the anchor leg. 3 out of the 4 into the record books, and the dual meet still up for grabs. Iowa and Minnesota. The scores and the fourth and final rotation when we come back. The Hawkeyes finish up on the beam. The Gophers very strong. They wind up on the floor. Welcome back. Just a couple of minutes east of downtown Minneapolis, the University of Minnesota, nestled along the bluffs and banks of the Mississippi River. And a reminder, this copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Big Ten Conference and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this championship may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Big Ten Conference. Rotation number 3, Mary Lee Tracy, impressions of the Gophers on the beam.
The Gophers on the beam were impressive. They were beautiful, they were solid, and a joy to watch.
Larissa Libby's Hawkeyes inspired on the floor.
They were inspired in a different way through their performance level. Each athlete got up there and performed to their music and looked like they had a great time.
All right, dissect the calculator and tell us now after 3 rotations what this means.
Well, it looks like the Gophers have definitely stepped ahead. I think it's a lot in their performance, their execution, but they're now a good point ahead of the Gophers.
So what would you look for Iowa trying to step it up big on the beam?
I think at this point, Iowa is just going to go for the hits in preparation for what's coming up this weekend.
Coach, you told me before the meet 24 of 24 would build confidence. You said a win, another Big Ten team we've beaten. And you said have fun was the third goal. And if you did have fun, you'd accomplish 1 and 2. Are you doing all 3?
Absolutely. I mean, the most important thing is we're having fun. We know what we can do. And when we go out there and have fun, we're confident we make it happen. We got 1 more to do, and we'll just keep trying to plug away and make it happen.
Best gymnastics moment for this personable junior, Andrea Hurlburt, when she won the all-around at her very first level 9 meet. Out of Waterloo, Iowa. Next up for the Hawkeyes.
Andrea starts with a simple mount just to get up there strong and confident. And begins right away with a kick over front to a fall. Falls are worth 5/10. This event usually is what a lot of meets are won or lost on, especially when you finish on this event.
Gophers tonight, 49.300, best of the season on the beam, and that also ties a Minnesota record best beam score in Gopher history.
Andrea is trying really hard to keep it together. She knows she's made a mistake, but she's trying to do the best to keep the rest of the routine in place.
What does that do to your confidence?
There's times when it makes you feel like giving up, but you know that if your score still needs to count, it's better to only have the 5/10 taken off your score. It's an interesting way to get up off of the beam. Gainer layout full off the side. Nice dismount.
I ask, of course, if size matters. She's only 4'10".
Yeah, she definitely has the low center of gravity.
And here was the wobble.
Yeah, and to start off with that is really a challenge when it's the first move of your entire routine.
On the positive side.
Yes, here it's her down on the beam, around the beam, which was very creative.
Andrea, the junior out of Waterloo, Iowa, the biology major, first up on the beam for Iowa. First up on the floor, rotation number 4. The Gophers trying to protect their lead. Anna Balboa.
Anna is described by her coaches as a very intense athlete in training and in competition. You can see by her movements that she is very intense, and look at those little ones watching her intensely.
Talk about a front row seat. They're out of the stands to get up nice and close.
There's her first pass. A nice big double tuck. She even uses her eyes when she performs. Just like on the beam, I like the way this team uses every part of their body to enhance their performance. There's her double salto pass. Very interesting jump combination. Takes it right down to the floor. Shows flexibility and amplitude.
A lot of world experience. Competed in Venezuela, in France. Of course, a native of Monterrey, Mexico.
Last pass, double pike somersault, just a little low on the landing.
9.775, her season's best and her career best.
And here comes that first pass. It's big. It's a double somersault in the tuck position. And here's the last one, which was also a double somersault in a pike position, but had a little bit of a squatty landing.
Boy, you're 5'1" and you're a freshman. That beam must look like a bunch of toothpicks strung together, huh?
Yes, I'm sure it does, except that you've been on it probably 6 days a week for lots and lots of years. Kind of like riding a bike. Jess is a beautiful performer on this event. She's able to show a lot of her flexibility. That was excellent free-leap series. She does back tuck, back tuck. Very different for her flight pass. Really like her style. I think it's very feminine and very pretty. Nice punch front.
Beam a difficult apparatus for the fourth and final rotation when you're trying to come from behind?
I know when I'm coaching, it's the event I don't like to finish on. I'll take it anywhere else but last, especially when it's a really big competition. Jess is showing a lot of maturity on this event, especially it being the last event. Very nice dismount. Even with a step, she had nice amplitude, nice lift off of the beam.
Second on the beam at the Western Nationals, the three-time junior Olympic qualifier, only 18 years of age, the freshman Jessica Hansen. And the flight pass, Jess?
Very different here. Back tuck, and also very challenging.
Pretty good effort right there, just a freshman. 21 years of age, the senior Brandy Loffer now for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
I like to watch Brandy during warm-ups. Brandy is a very, very intense gymnast, very mental. She goes through a lot of MC, mental choreography, her words, her motions right before she starts. Nice back handspring layout, but she kind of second-guessed her landing instead of just freezing.
9.775, her career best. What will that say cost her?
Probably not more than a 10. Very solid. See how aggressive her arms are, the discipline of her focus. Switch leap, straddle jump. You get to this part of the routine, you're kind of just ready to get off, get that dismount done. He's going to mount with a round off right into a 1.5 twist.
Not her best, and she knows it, but first over there, good job and a hug from the coach, Larissa Libby.
Again, it's always hard to follow in the lineup when someone ahead of you has had a fall and you know that it's going to count. She had it. She was fine. She just second-guessed herself.
But this was nice.
And there was her side semi right to a nice stand position.
Talking to Brandy and Larissa about recruiting, and Brandy being the senior, she said she would tell her incoming freshmen, get ready for the most awesome time of your life. Yeah, Gym Hawks. Sophomore now from Maryville High School, Maryville, Tennessee, Yuri Nagai.
Yuri spent a lot of time since she's been here just trying to do a better job with her English so she can understand her coaches. She said she's done an outstanding job. Nice bounce on that first pass. Back 2.5 twist to a punch front. One thing for sure, Yuri has some nice muscles in those legs to have that much power. Strong calf muscles. Really helps you punch on the balls of your feet. Right there, you can see it on the front layout,
Her teammates are loving this effort by Yuri.
Yuri definitely commands you to watch her performance. the dynamics of even the little parts very strong. Front full to a tuck front. She looks very happy with that pass.
And to finish the easy part as her teammates explode, 9.800, her career and season best.
Definitely looks like everybody liked that performance. Watch this second pass, front layout, front layout. You can see the punch from the balls of the feet. And here comes the last pass where she could feel her whole team pulling for her. Front full to a punch front. Nice opening on the ending.
Gophers trying to protect and pad their lead in the fourth and final rotation. Good effort there, Yuri Nagad. Fourth up, rotation 4 on the beam now for Iowa, the sophomore, Rebecca Zimbutis.
I like to watch Rebecca on the beam. She definitely performs with a lot of confidence, a lot of poise. Front aerial with a small balance check and another one. Each will probably cost her a 10th. Straddle jump, split jump, showing that flexibility. Rebecca certainly takes advantage of her strengths, and I like that about this routine. You can see she's flexible and she uses it everywhere she can. She struggled with that side summy in warm-ups, and boy, did she pull it together just now. It's nice to see.
9.875, Rebecca's best at Texas on the beam.
Dismounts with a gainer full off the side of the beam, and it was a beautiful landing.
One of her goals for the year, a 9.9 on the beam. Maybe she'll do that in the Women's Big Ten Championships. You'll see it live this Saturday.
It's a very good save on her part. She wants to be on the beam, and she's fighting all the way. And here comes her dismount, very clean and very well stuck.
Rebecca Zimbutis for the Hawkeyes. Fourth up for the Gophers in the lead. Fourth and final rotation, Kendra Elm, the sophomore out of Wayzata High School.
Neat story about Kendra. She started off as a walk-on and earned her scholarship through hard work and performance. Opens with a double pike. Struggles a little bit there on her jump combination. A little extra footwork. Double salto pass. Both were very well done. Nice, strong, clean legs. See a little bit of a difference in the performance. She looks a little bit more maybe concerned about her tumbling passes instead of just letting it go and letting the performance happen.
9.825, Kendra Elm's best on the floor for the Gophers this season and in her young career, just a sophomore.
Finishes with a whip to a back 1.5, punch front. 3-element pass, which is nice, and we haven't seen much of that.
Gophers very strong finishing up on the floor. Kendra Elm out of Wayzata High School.
And here's her last pass. 3 elements together. A whip to a 1.5 to a punch front tuck. Very nice at the end of a routine. Very cute way to end that routine.
Strong effort there for the sophomore, Kendra Elm. Fifth up on the beam for the Iowa Hawkeyes, the sophomore Hori Gabejian. Mary Lee Tracy, we have talked about Coach Libby not being happy with the scoring. Something else has gotten under her skin. Between the last performer, Rebecca, and Hori here, she goes over to the PA announcer, the official table, a wadded up piece of paper, made her point, and left the piece of paper behind to put a period on her words, huh?
And she's not very happy tonight. I'm not really sure exactly what the piece of paper was. If it was about a score, I'm really not sure.
She's right at the end of the beam there watching now, concentrating on Hori's performance. But that's not Larissa's personality, right? That's not a side of her you see. I mean, you know whatever it is she's complaining about, she feels justified.
Yeah, there was some form of it actually might have been a paper airplane that came down, and while I think it was Rebecca was on the beam, and that did not make her happy because it can break an athlete's focus.
Twice scored a 9.9 on the beam against Ohio State and against Minnesota last year. Hori Gabejian
does a nice round off double tuck. It's a very big dismount. Here it is again, a round off. 2 somersaults before she comes down to the mat with a little bit of a low landing. That'll cost her probably a 10th or 2 on her final score.
Yeah, apparently there's a paper airplane contest, so maybe somebody needs to call air traffic control and ground all flights till it's over. The junior from South Maplewood, Minnesota, and Tartan High School, 20 years of age, Alexis Russell.
Alexis is described by her coaches as kind of the life of the gym. Lots of personality and lots of energy she adds to this team in the day-to-day workouts. Can definitely see that. First pass. Round back handspring double pike. That was huge. Nice wolf full turn. I think she has the little girls in awe with her amplitude, flexibility, and power.
I wouldn't be at all surprised if Alexis Russell steps up and maybe replaces Carmelina Carbajal as captain once Carm graduates.
As a coach, I'd be happy to see someone like that coming up.
She's got that leadership. She's got that kind of personality, Alexis does.
Besides leadership as a person and energy, she is a beautiful athlete. Here's the last pass. A whip to a back 1.5 punch front that was stuck and beautiful. Look at that movement.
A lot of the folks here at the pavilion are on their feet. Alexis Russell electrified the crowd. .825, her career best, season best on the floor. First pass.
Electrified is a good word to describe this athlete, Jim. That was a great pass. And here comes the last pass. Very energetic, very strong, and solid.
What a warm-up, what a tune-up for the Women's Big Ten Gymnastics Championship live. 4 hours coming your way this Saturday. Last up in the dual meet, the senior, Jennifer Zimbutas for Coach Larissa Libby and her Gym Hawks.
This is where a tight mind is critical. The crowd is loud. Your team has had some difficulty on this event, and you're the last one up. But if anybody can do it, it would be this athlete. starts off with her front aerial, small balance error.
A little bit of a delay before Jennifer could get going. The crowd reacting to Alexis Russell's score of 9.95 on the floor. Zimbutis regroup.
Definitely regrouped and ready to hit this routine. Here comes her flight series, a back handspring layout, step out, feet are right in the center of the beam, and she's on. She's not going to let anything break her concentration.
Two-time Big Ten Gymnast of the Week, first team all Big Ten selection, just like the outstanding anchor for the Gophers, who's up next on the floor, Carmelina Carbajal. Jennifer's best on the beam, 9.875.
That was an outstanding beam routine.
That really was.
Switch leap right into a side summy. What a challenging combination, very difficult, and she hits it. And there's her dismount, just as strong as the rest of the routine.
Getting ready for the Big Ten Women's Championships at Illinois. They're the host school. We'll be there. We hope you'll join us. Last performance here at home. The senior captain, Carmelina Carbajal.
After 4 years of competing in this arena with these athletes, I'm sure there's a lot of emotion behind all of this.
There's also an intense amount of focus right here.
An intense amount of focus. A front through to a double tuck. Great job.
9.95 for Alexis Russell. More on that, but enjoy the final home performance here in this Carbajal.
Very dramatic and intense music. Kind of goes along with her competition style. Front layout, front layout. Definitely has her little fan club over there, watching her, cheering for her. Excellent choreography. Nice turn and jump combination. Very well done. Finishes with a nice double pike. Very clean. Beautiful.
A smile tells it all. Margaret and Fred Carbajal can be very, very proud. Their senior daughter, the captain, the kinesiology major who wants to go on to nursing school, and finally some tears.
That's a happy, sad moment right there. She started off this floor routine very strong with a front through to a double tuck somersault. And here she shows the beauty, the artistry, not just tumbling. And her last pass here at home, round off back handspring, double pike to a great landing, and look at that smile.
10th in the Big Ten on the floor, 3rd in the Big Ten in the all-around, 1st in the Big Ten on the beam. Captain Carmelina Carbajal. How about that score? 9.95 to finish up her career at home.
So exciting.
Absolutely, positively, two scintillating performances by the Gophers on the floor, the junior Alexis Russell and the senior captain Carmelina Carbajal. We'll come back, tally things up, talk to the winning coach, and so much more. You come back with us. Big Ten Network Women's Gymnastics has been brought to you by the National Championships, April 16th through the 18th, 2009. For tickets, call 800-8-BIG-RED or visit NCAA.com. And a reminder that the Big Ten Network is indeed looking for its most passionate fans with Big Ten superfans. The Big Ten Network wants to reward its loyal viewers with chances to win great prizes, like tickets to a Big Ten game, autographed memorabilia, electronics, and much, much more. Register now at thebigtennetwork.com. After that fourth rotation, Iowa on the beam.
They were in a difficult position coming from behind. They held it together very well. Few small wobbles and breaks, but overall they did a good job.
Larissa Libby came over and just said to us, it's hard to make my kids better with a paper airplane contest going on. Meanwhile, for the Gophers, brilliant on the floor.
They were brilliant. Look at those top two scores. As close to perfect as you can get. It was very enjoyable and impressive to watch.
And the team standings then, as you look at that Gopher score, 196.75. I asked Carmelina Carbajal before the night, that was one of their goals, that they hit it. She said, no, but we're going to do it tonight. Well, they did. And guess what, friends? It's the fourth best in women's gymnastics history here at the university, and the second best in 14 years that the Gophers have been housed at the Sports Pavilion. Here with the winning team and a beaming captain is Mary Lee.
What a night tonight for you, for the Gophers. Carmelina, you were incredible as an individual in the all-around senior night, but what was it like to be a part of the Gopher team tonight?
I was just telling the girls that I could never imagine my last meet in the PAV, and this was absolutely the best possible thing that could happen for us, and I said thank you guys so much. It was just an amazing night for me and the rest of my team, and I'm just so proud of them.
And what a setup for what's ahead next weekend. Can you tell me how this is going to set your team up and get you ready for next week?
Well, I mean, it's great to have a good meet before the championships. It gives us a lot of confidence, and I think it's just a great way to propel us this week in the gym and just making the corrections that we need, and we're going to do even better at Big Tens.
Thank you very much.
After scintillating performances on the floor by the junior Alexis Russell and by the senior captain Carmelina Carbajal, there are the final results in the all-around. Jennifer Zimbudas, Hori Gabiji, and of course for Iowa. Minnesota here tonight. Best of the year on the vault. Best of the year on the beam. Ties their best on the bar. Fourth best score in Gopher women's gymnastics history. Getting ready for the live Big Ten Women's Gymnastics Championship next weekend. For Mary Lee and all our Big Ten Network crew, the preceding has been an exclusive presentation of the Big Ten Network.